Hello, Viking fans. Welcome to this week's edition of Viking Talk with Josh Morgan. I'm Brandon Davis, and as always, glad to have with me Warren Central head football coach Josh Morgan. Coach, great to see you.
You too, Brandon.
Well, a very intense, and we'll say intense, 19-18 win against Vicksburg last week. I'm sure all the cardiologists in the area appreciate the business that we sent them. But congratulations, Coach, going 2-0 in region play. But this was a game that I know that was a lot closer than you had hoped for.
Yeah, it went down to the absolute last second, last play. Our kids did a good job. They did a good job of hanging in there and staying together and persevering and fighting and saw some good things. I definitely, one of the things that we've been talking about and focused on and wish we would have been better at was we felt like we allowed the game to get close in some certain areas, but our kids did what they needed to do to win, and I'm proud of their resiliency and finding a way to win, staying together, and really gritting out a big win that had such big implications. So I'm proud of them.
Yeah, resiliency that it was. You go down. It was 18-16. You have to drive back down the field with 7 minutes to go and kick a game-winning field goal. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the defense throughout the night was very strong in this game. You held a Vicksburg offense to less than 200 yards. I know you've got to be proud of the performance, but especially what L.J. Reynolds was able to do last Friday night.
He was one of those players that really stepped up, and we needed it. He is one of our leaders and one of our constant guys that's just steady, and he really picked his game up and was dominant. He was dominant in certain areas, and especially to what they were trying to do. We put him where we thought the ball was going, and he just did a wonderful job. 12 tackles, 7 tackles for losses, and what they're doing, and the offense that they were running was really, really awesome to see, and very, very proud of him. Needed all those big plays from him, and that's kind of what bigger the game is, the better he plays, and very, very proud of him, and very, very well deserving.
Yeah, a young man that's mostly overshadowed because of what we have on the defensive line, but very proud of him and what he was able to do. The Viking offense, Coach, kind of struggled a little bit in the first half. You did put 16 up on the board, but the second half seemed like you got better push from your offensive line and really good running from Aiden Greer. Talk about Aiden and talk about the interior play of your offensive line.
Well, we put a lot, and Aiden got hot, and we liked the way he was running the ball, and they were tough yards. I think he finished with 84 yards running the football, and really hitting them in there in those tough runs and finishing runs in a dominant position. Well, we did not do a good job of being constant and consistent on offense, moving the chains. We weren't very good on third down, and we've got to have more urgency to us. We've got to help ourselves in creating space between teams, and we never really able to get that space. I thought Aiden did a good job, and could kind of see his demeanor change and his attitude as far as understanding really the situation of the game and what was being asked of him and how important that role was. And he got hot, and we kept giving it to him. I thought our offensive line played well the whole night for the most part. We made a drive in crunch time, as you mentioned, when we were down, and we put a 7-minute drive together. Got all the way down to the 2 and decided to kick it, and that ended up prevailing for us and being the winning points right there. But got to be better in some areas. I thought we ran the ball very well, and trying to do our best to also take care of the football. So anyways, I think that I was very proud of our running game.
Well, stat that you're not going to like me to say, 10% on first down, which is pretty bad for those of you at home that don't realize that. But a lot of that was tied to some silly penalties that we had, and we knew that this game was probably going to be called tight with all the emotions on it. But also 12 of the 18 points that Vicksburg had were off big plays, a blocked kick, also on a pick 6. What do we need to do to improve in those areas to prevent that from happening going forward?
Those types of games, it really resembled a lot like the previous year. I mean, it's scored 14 or 12 points last year on special teams, block punt, and a kickoff return. This year it was a pick 6 that went off our receivers' hands, and just a couple inches here or there with the throw, and The guy was in the right spot, made a big play. But again, help ourselves get out of our own way on a lot of it. Just making some mistakes there on the field goal. Felt like the guy was offsides. Got halfway over the line as the ball snapped. Guy made a good play, but we felt like it was offsides. But again, I think just the littlest attention to detail. We were tight on our splits, which created a short corner. And so things like that, and you know, again, learning curves. But again, we also have to realize is we're very fortunate to be able to win, but we still are trying to correct and get better and learn. But I can tell you this: it's a lot easier to learn after you win. So we're proud of the win. Those games do not go the way that you plan them to, and it's not going to be the cleanest of games most times. Both teams are playing incredibly hard and a lot of passion. So yeah, a lot to learn from. We got to get better in certain areas, and so we'll continue to strive on that.
Yeah, a lot of passion in this game. Maybe the refs caught it a little too tight, but we're not going to make excuses on that because what's done is done. But let's talk about a positive. Jonah Artman, our young kicker, he's done so many good things for us in his short time here at Warren Central, but came in a very tough, clutch situation, made a game winner. I know you and the staff have to be very pleased with what you saw from him.
Yeah, Jonah, you know, what he was able to do that last really 2 kicks. You get yourself poised and collected and ready to, you know, everybody, it's just that moment. And it's all eyes on you at that point in time. Then you kick the field goal and they're offsides again, and you have to regather yourself. So not only did he kick the game winning once, but he kicked it twice. And for that kind of composure, and you know, just mental fortitude and toughness, and so he was able to regroup and again, all that's involved with that, with the snap and the hold, you know, those guys have to regroup, and we trusted our guys to do that. And Jonah has been a weapon, and he's been a weapon, and it's been the difference in a lot of ball games over the past 2 years, and just hats off to him, and we're very proud of him and very thankful for him.
Also kicked a 40-yarder in the game. He nailed that one to put us on the board, so a great night from him. This is Viking Talk, visiting with Josh Morgan. Coach, this week, a long trip over to Philadelphia, Mississippi to take on a team that we have never played before, the Neshoba Central Rockets. What can you tell us about that team?
Well, a lot of respect for their program. This is our first time playing them, but keeping up with them from afar. They're, you know, I think with the exception of last year, they're 5-time, 6-time in a row district championships, always make deep playoff runs, very well coached. I think their players and program really resembles ours a lot. I think the way it's run and the way they look. So a lot of respect for them. They're very good at what they do. They're a physical team and going to be hard to beat.
Patrick Schooler, the head coach over there, has won 40 region games in 7 years, so they been the dominant team in the region. So, you know, here we are coming along to maybe try to take that from them. But this is an offense led by quarterback Will Williams, a junior youngster, has done a really nice job for him. Like to put 3 or 4 receivers on the field. Charles Stevenson, number 7, you'll see him Friday night. It's one of their better players. But it's going to be a big challenge for us this week.
Yeah, a lot of weapons. I don't know if this is not the deepest receiving core that we've seen. Very skilled, and you know, a lot of them are making plays, and quarterbacks getting better every week, and they're opening it up more and more with him, so yes, it's going to be a tall task for us. Going to have to really cover the whole field, and it's going to make us be at our best. And you know, we've been preparing for. You know, wing tee and the last really 3 weeks, and so we've got to get back going in our mindset of personnel and packages, and it'll be a different type of feel from the beginning. So big game, and putting a lot on our defense this week, and it's going to be a lot more other guys opportunity to step up, and they'll be called on to do so.
Well, we talked about the receivers. They also have a couple of really good backs, Coach. 2 big backs, Mekhi Gaddis and Mark Kirkland, 2 junior. I believe they're both juniors, but they've combined for nearly 800 yards on the season. Not as many rushing touchdowns because they're more of a pass approach offense, but with backs like that, they're going to spread you out. You know that it's going to run downhill on you. I would imagine there's going to have to be more of a gap assignment and making sure that you're getting off your blocks this week if you're the defense.
Yes, I think a lot of their two backs. I've been saying it all week, and the first thing that pops out is they've got good vision and good patience, make good cuts. So as you can see, we're talking about the wide outs, the quarterback, and now the running backs. Very balanced, which really puts a lot of pressure on you. We're going to have to make decisions. What are we trying to take away? And we're going to have and be smart when we're bringing pressure and how we're aligning to things. But it's hard to attack a team that's balanced, and they're epitome of that. And we've got to do a really good job being where we're supposed to be, tackling well in space, and also doing our best to prevent big plays.
Well, they may not have the tempo that we've seen with some of the other teams, but you kind of relate them to what you saw from Pearl or Brandon this season?
Yes, very similar to what they're trying to do. They can run the ball out of one back. They also like to do it out of two backs, but anytime a team that can run just out of one back, it really puts a lot of stress and pressure on your DBs because you've got to respect the four receivers. And now the quarterback is becoming just as much of a run threat. So it puts a lot of stress on you. So balance is key for them. We've got to do a good job of making them one-dimensional. We've got to take one of them away. And we've got to make that decision. And we'd like to be clever in how we're doing that. And, got a good game plan in. Our guys got to execute it.
So, yeah, you just made a good point on that. When you take away and you're putting pressure on your defensive backs with those running backs, that means really your linebacker probably should pick up some of the slack there on that. Do you see, and we run four linebacker sets, do you think maybe you have to adjust and run 3 or 4 linebackers, or what do you need to do this week to help your DBs out?
Well, I can tell you this, we're prepared to do multiple things.
Uh-huh.
We're prepared in different packages and personnel and playing really good assignment football. The first thing that we want to do is create a shell on our back end to prevent big plays. There'll be times where we bring more in the box and try to apply pressure, and that's going to put DBs in man assignment, which they have to hold up and be accountable and do their jobs. But different packages, we're prepared for a bunch of different things, and we really have to go with the flow of the game. But the thing about it is what helps us is we have linebackers that can run like deer, and it helps us be multiple with them and ask them to do multiple things. So we like our group, like our defense. We've had a good week. It's one thing about it, coming after Vicksburg, everybody's first question is, can we bring it again? Can you bring that energy when you're playing a team like Neshoba for what's at stake Friday night? Our guys came in, patted them on the back, and that was over with. It's time to go back to work. So had a good week, good game plan, like our personnel, and it's going to come down to really making plays and executing.
Defensively, they have some very good prospects out there that you're going to see Friday night. Number 2, free safety, Zach Ruffin. I really like this kid, Coach. 78 tackles on the year. Big, long, kind of reminds you of Gio, about 6'3", just a big, long kid that can move around.
Two-way player.
Yeah, big player. And play some wide receiver as well. Yeah. But what do you like about him, and what do you like about that defense?
Well, they first of all, is all the teams that we played and the tough schedule that we played, they may be the biggest up front. Very big up front, and they'll base out of a 3-4 look and sometimes get into a 5-2 look, but really allowing those 3 just to plug 2 gaps, and that also allows those guys to do multiple things on the back end. But they've gotten better week in and week out. I think they're, again, anytime a team that can take away the run, it allows their back end to play and keep their eyes on your perimeter and your passing game, your quarterback. So I think everything that they do comes from the strength of their D-line, and it allows their back half to really focus on their keys. So they help with that. But again, I think 2 and 5 they're both two-way players. They play safety and receiver. They don't come off the field much, so that's what they think of them, and they sure pop out on tape.
Yeah, you can tell that defensive line makes plays. Their middle linebacker, 33 Huffman, watch him. He is a very good ball player. He moves around a lot. I think he's one of the leading tacklers on that team. So youngster's a really good prospect as well. You've got to keep an eye on this Friday night.
That's right.
So also, go back to their offensive line, though. I mean, I've been impressed, Coach, with their offensive line. It feels like from what I've seen on film, they've gotten better from week to week. But also, they're well coached. Brian Anderson, he was here with us a few years ago. He's now running their offensive line over there. It's going to be a big test for our defensive line this week. Would you agree?
Yeah. It's it's another one of those games where we all know, football is going to come down to the line play from both sides, and I think Neshoba is strong on both of them, as you mentioned, and they'll have a good scheme, and it'll be Neshoba's known for being tough and physical, but that's also what we hang our hat on, and so it'll be one of those games where we're going up there with in a business-like mode, and at the end of the day, it's going to be about finding out who's the most physical and who's the most dominant, and making plays to win the game. So they're good up front. They're good on both sides of the ball, and they're tough.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one to watch. So, Coach, you talked about going over there. We got to go over there, about a little over 2-hour drive to Philadelphia. It's going to be the first long trip that we've taken with this team. Obviously, we took them to Delta State, but this is a different time, a different team, different things on the line. How do you approach this week, and how do you get them mentally ready when they get off the bus, their legs aren't too heavy, and they're ready to play football?
Yeah, so we'll do our very best in preparing our trip. The biggest thing in my mind is and I told them Monday, this is everything that we wanted. Is sitting at their front porch right now. It's at their feet, and I wanted it to and it's been echoed all week. A business-like approach, a team with a chip on their shoulder that's ticked off and fighting for something that we've been fighting for a long time and been one of our main goals. And Neshoba's in the way, and Neshoba is a very good team, and they are fighting for the same thing. And it's about in that mindset of getting ourselves ready to play. But at the same time, you can't be chomping at the bit for 12 hours. You got to be able to understand that. And so we've got a good day planned out for them, and the trip is the trip, and we'll try to make it as relaxing as we possibly can. But that's our mindset, and that's what we've been preaching all week is business trip and going in with the edge. And getting ready to fight for 4 quarters.
Yeah, both teams are 2-0 in region play. Neshoba last week had to beat Columbus in overtime, 25-24, a very resilient ball club. But, Coach, a win this week is really going to put you in the driver's seat of winning that region title. And I know it's one game at a time, but more importantly, even if you do win this week, you're going to secure a playoff spot. Talk about the importance of going ahead, securing that, and then looking toward getting that region title. Yeah,
well, we talked about last week with the Vicksburg game. Yeah, it's Vicksburg week. It's one of our biggest rivals, and but it is a big district game, and we felt like Vicksburg would be one of the top teams in the district, and so coming out of that, you're 2-0, and Neshoba's already played Vicksburg, so the bottom line is if the winner of this game is really setting themselves up for. For a district championship, and we didn't dance around that with the kids. We didn't try to, that's what it is. They still have to play Callaway, so do we. So we'll have an opportunity to play Callaway, whatever happens with Callaway and Vicksburg. But we won't see Neshoba again.
That's right.
And they have whoever wins this will have a head-to-head tiebreaker. So this is district championship, and that's how we're approaching it. And my goodness, what a great time of the year. And your weather starts getting a little cooler and starts getting dark a little earlier, and these Vikings are sitting right here in the hunt for a district championship. So we couldn't ask for anything else. We've got to seize this moment and make the best of our opportunity.
Well, it's always our goal to have to flip the lights on when we're practicing because it's getting dark outside. That means you're playing good football when you're doing that.
That's right.
You had a great season. If you're going home when it's still daylight, you didn't quite have the season that you wanted. Well, Coach, practice this week. I know you're coming off a big emotional win. You talked about it earlier. You guys got in here. You patted them on the back. Let's get back to work. Have you seen any type of emotional hangover, though, at practice this week? How's it been for you guys?
No, not at all. And this game has helped. This game has helped with that. A lot of went into last Friday night, emotional, relief, all emotions, if you could name it, during that week. It's been a factor. But we address what we need to address. Around here, we're not going to it's going to be the truth. It's going to be the truth at all times. So what needs to be fixed, we talk about it. We try to use every situation to grow and to become better men and become a better football team. So we got that done, and it was on. And what I just told you, I told them. And this is time for us, and this is what's at stake. And at that moment right there, everybody just flipped it, and we've had a wonderful week of preparation. Our guys understand it, and now it's coming down to going and fighting for what you want.
Well, what's going to be the keys to getting this victory this Friday night?
Well, I can tell you this: we've got to handle the trip, as we mentioned. I don't think that'll be an issue at all. I think offensively we're going to have opportunities to do some things, and we've got to have our players step up. We have to have the Zach Evans and the Jalen Winters and the Maddox Lynches. We need their best, and we need EJ and Aiden Greer to have their best game and play well. We need our offensive line to be consistent and dominant all night long. We need a quarterbacks to make good decisions and keep us in front of the chains. So it's just that consistency in the little things and attention to details that we talk about. We got to be good at being us. We got to win the kicking game, and defensively, we talked about the challenges at the first of the show. So it's not about Neshoba, it's about us. It's about us being the very best version of ourselves, the way we want to play in all three phases, a complete team, and that's what it's going to take. And so that's what we're after: being just solid, being the best version of ourselves, taking control of the game. And being really good in the turnover margins and all that stuff that comes with it. And I know it's all coaches speak, but we want to be the best us that we can be. And that's what this program is built on. And in the big games, that's what we lean on. We don't try to be anything other than what we are. And I think we have a pretty good feeling of who we are, what do we do best, what's our identity, and we're going to lean heavily on that. And may the best team win.
Well, Coach, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
It's going to be fun.
Yes.
Looking forward to it. Well, another question, though. Did you lose your voice on Saturday morning?
I lost my mind.
Well, you lost your
Friday night.
Hey, I agree. I know the feeling. I didn't get my voice back, I think, until Sunday. Yeah.
But again, those games, all that matters. There's only one thing that matters, and we tell our guys that all the time, and we're thankful for that.
Yeah, even if you have to crawl out with it, you take it and you run.
No doubt.
So that's what we did. But yeah, great crowd last Friday night. Thank you so much for being here. Congratulations to the Vicksburg Warren School District Hall of Fame. That was awesome to have those folks there at halftime to recognize them. Bands did a outstanding job. It was just a great night to be here at Viking Stadium, and look forward to some more. Of course, the next 2 weeks, this week and the following week, we're going to be on the road. We won't be back home until the finale against Columbus. That is when we'll celebrate our seniors. So hope to see you back. Hope you join us these next couple of weeks as we travel. Thanks to the coaching staff for all they do for these kids, and just thanks to everyone for making this program what it is. Well, Coach, we're going to close it off this week, but we'll see you guys next week. We're going to talk about the Neshoba game, then we'll look forward to Callaway. But till then, I'm Brandon Davis. He's Josh Morgan. Take care and rise up, Vikings.